This video will help you prepare for the Current Affairs and General Knowledge section of the CLAT 2020 exam, including suggestions and resources to make sure you are ready for the exam. To begin with, let's go over the syllabus and skills that you will be assessed on. In the Current Affairs section of the CLAT 2020, you will be provided passages of up to 450 words each. These passages will be derived from news and journalistic sources and other non-fiction writing and are intended to test your depth of understanding of issues and events of significance, rather than mere fact or trivia-based knowledge of such issues and events. You can expect the Current Affairs and GK section to include questions that ask you to fill in missing information and blanks, identify causes and consequences of the events described in the passages, answer questions about personalities and events associated with the events in the passage, answer questions about awards, recognitions, and other events of significance associated with persons mentioned in the passage, and ask about laws and other events of legal significance such as judgments associated with the events mentioned in the passage. While the focus is on more recent and current events, some questions may also test you on historical information related to such events and their significance, in order to better gauge your understanding of the causes of such events. Questions may also relate to matters associated with the events mentioned in the passage. For a passage about a natural calamity, for example, you may face questions not only about that natural calamity, but similar events in other parts of the world. The purpose of this section is to test not individual standalone facts, which by themselves have no value, but to be able to be curious about and see the universe of facts within which an individual situation manifests. For instance, if there is a question on the forest fires in the Amazon, we would love for you to be curious about forest fires, about the Amazonas, about international climate change policy, about Brazil, and so on. This is far more important, we believe, to be able to see how facts come together to construct the world around us, a fundamental skill for any lawyer. Now that you have a better idea of the kind of questions you might expect, let's review some important points that are sure to aid you in your approach to answering the questions in the Current Affairs and GK section. Make sure you read the entire passage before you attempt the questions. While the answers to some questions may seem apparent to you, you would be able to pick up valuable clues about the answers to other questions by ensuring you read the entire passage first. Don't worry about whether you will remember all the elements of the passage when you come to the questions. The idea is not to test your ability to memorize the passage and answer questions that test your recollection. But do make sure you have a good idea of the overall theme or point of focus of the passage, as this may help jog your memory about any related information you may have read or come across in your preparations. In line with the overall theme of the CLAT 2020, the focus is on comprehension and your ability to understand and decode the information set out in the passage. While you may not be asked vocabulary questions in this section of the paper, you may be asked the meaning of certain statements made in the passage insofar as they relate to information associated with such statements. For example, a passage relating to cyclones may ask you what the difference is between a cyclone, a typhoon, and a hurricane. As with all the other sections of the UG CLAT 2020, make sure you pay close attention to the wording of the questions. The question setters may be examining your ability to read and follow text closely, and so may frame questions in a negative manner. For example, which of the following is not an example of X? Or may use a double negative as well. For example, instead of asking which of the following is an efficient way to do X, the question may be framed as which of the following is not an inefficient way to do X. To help illustrate the different questions and the way to best approach them, let's go over an example where we can go through the passage together and identify the correct answer to each question. On 16th January 2020, displaced blank tribals from Mizoram living as refugees in blank since 1997 were allowed to permanently settle in blank. The agreement allowing 30,000 blank tribals to permanently settle in blank took 20 years and 9 attempts in the making and was signed between the centre, the state governments of blank and Mizoram, and blank Riang representatives in the national capital in the presence of Union Home Minister Amit Shah. The blank, spread across blank, Mizoram and parts of southern Assam, are the most populous tribe in blank. Also known as Riangs in the state, they are ethnically different from the Mizos, with their own distinct language and dialect, and form one of the 21 scheduled tribes of blank. In 1997, roughly half the blank population fled to blank following violent clashes with the Mizo population, which led to the blank's demand for an autonomous district council under the 6th schedule of the constitution in western Mizoram, where they were the more dominant lot, outnumbering the ethnic Mizo population. On 1st October, as the centre's 9th repatriation attempt began, the tribe's food and cash supply was stopped, prompting the tribe to take to the streets. On 3rd October, the Union Home Ministry started a round of talks with the state governments of Mizoram and to legitimize the 30,000 odd refugees. The passage we just read has been extracted with edits and revisions from the article titled "Who Are the Refugees?" written by Shashwati Das and published by Live Mint. Now that we've reviewed the passage, let's go over some sample questions together. The name of the tribe that is discussed in the passage above and who are also known as the Riang has been replaced with blank in the passage above. What is blank? Your options are A. Lepcha, B. Jamatia, C. Bru, or D. Halam. The correct answer is C. The name of the state where the displaced blank refugees have now been allowed to settle permanently according to the pact signed on 16th January 2020 has been replaced with blank in the passage above. What is blank? Your options are A. Tripura, B. Manipur, C. Meghalaya, or D. Assam. The correct answer is A. What is the name of the act passed in 1958 and applied to several states in northeast India, which allows special powers to the Indian Armed Forces to maintain public order in disturbed areas and which was recently partially withdrawn from some areas. Your options are A. Prevention of Terrorism Act, B. Armed Forces Special Powers Act, C. National Security Act, or D. Army Act. The correct answer is B. This person went on a 16-year-long hunger strike to demand the abolition of the act mentioned in the previous question. What is this person's name? Your options are A. Khaidam Mani, B. Bablu Loingtongbam, C. Sanjoy Hazarika, or D. Irom Sharmila. The correct answer is D. This person signed the blank merger agreement on September 9, 1949, as a result of which blank became a part of India on October 15, 1949. Who is this person? Your options are A. Maharani Kanchan Pravadevi, B. Maharaja Bir Bikram Kishore Debarman Manikya Bahadur, C. Maharaja Kirit Bikram Kishore Deb Barman, or D. Maharaja Birendra Kishore Manikya. The correct answer is A. Extremely severe cyclonic storm hit the Odisha coast in Puri early morning on May 3, 2019, with a wind speed of around 175 km per hour. The Navy, the National Disaster Response Force, and the Coast Guard are on high alert. The Met Department has issued a yellow warning for Odisha, predicting heavy to very heavy rain in several areas. Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh have been placed on high alert too. According to the IMD, in the past 126 years, only 14 severe tropical cyclones have formed in April over the Bay of Bengal. Out of those, only one storm crossed the Indian mainland. Cyclone Blank was the second storm to form in April and cross the mainland. The last severe cyclone, Nargis, in 2008, devastated Myanmar. Cyclones are not new to Odisha. The worst one, a supercyclone, had hit the state in 1999, killing more than 15,000 people, with most of the casualty being reported from Odisha. The passage we just read has been extracted with edits and revisions from an article titled Cyclone: 6 Things You Should Know About This Severe Cyclone, taken from the Economic Times. What is the name of the cyclonic storm whose name has been replaced with blank in the passage above? Your options are A. Bulbul, B. Titli, C. Foni, or D. Viaru. The correct answer is C. What was the name of the supercyclone that hit the state of Odisha in 1999 mentioned in the passage above? Your options are A. Cyclone Gonu, B. Cyclone Bob06, C. Cyclone Apelin, or D. Cyclone Kyar. The correct answer is B. The name blank was suggested by which country? Your options are A. Thailand, B. Sri Lanka, C. Pakistan, or D. Bangladesh. The correct answer is D. Section 144 of the CRPC was imposed in Gaya in Bihar in 2019 as part of a reaction to contain the fallout from which of the following weather-related phenomenon that struck the state? Your options are A. Heat wave, B. Cyclone, C. Earthquake, or D. Drought. The correct answer is A. Which of the following is true about the 2019 Indian monsoon season? Your options are A. It was the earliest onset of the monsoon in 30 years. B. It witnessed the lowest monsoonal rainfall in 25 years. C. It witnessed the heaviest monsoonal rainfall in 25 years. Or D. It had no impact on agriculture in the country. The correct answer is C. Before ending this video, here are a few strategies to help you prepare for the Current Affairs and GK section of the UG CLAT 2020. These strategies may help you in your preparation and include suggestions and ideas to help you review and practice for the exam. The best way to prepare for this section of the UG CLAT 2020 is to have a long-term habit of reading a good set of newspapers and periodicals. In particular, it would help to read the editorial and opinion sections of newspapers and periodicals, as these often provide historical, associated, and ancillary information related to the main subject discussed in the piece. Now that you have an idea of what sources the question setters typically refer to from the introductory video, try and read through similar sources on a regular basis. If you have not developed a long-term habit of reading newspapers and periodicals, all is not lost. Now that many good sources of news and information are also available online, you can also visit their websites and go through their archive of editorial and opinion pieces. In this way, you can try and catch up for some lost time. It may not be possible for you to read all the information covered in this section of the UG CLAT 2020 in the time you have remaining before the exam. A good way to try and address this is to form a small group of people with whom you can discuss the topics and areas that are covered in this section. That way, you can not only take the advantage of the fact that other people may have covered the topics you have not been able to, you will also be able to dive into greater depth by questioning each other about each topic, so as to ensure you know more about that topic than you may otherwise have been able to. We do not encourage nor discourage the use of fact compendiums to assist in your preparation for this section. If you find these useful, please feel free to use them. But make sure you do not fall into the trap of meaninglessly memorizing long lists of facts without understanding their wider context and how they relate to other information. For more information on sample papers, syllabus, or the exam, do visit our website www.consortiumofnlus.ac.in.